When you open your eyes, you have exactly 1 second. 1 second to become who you were yesterday again, or choose another. This second is an invisible door. Most people pass it blindly. I did too, until I learned to stop, just for a minute. 1. In the morning, every morning. I know it sounds too simple, too stupid to be true, but honestly, everything great always starts with something very small. I used to wake up like a zombie. The alarm would ring, I would reach for my phone, look at some notifications. Sometimes it seemed to me that I wasn't even living. I was just existing in the flow of tasks and responsibilities. You go through life as if someone put you on rails, and you go where they tell you. You have no time for anything. Not for yourself. Not for choice. Not for a break. I thought it was normal, that everyone lived like this, until one day, I broke down. It was an ordinary day. The clock said 7:02. I woke up, got up, washed my face, and suddenly realized, I don't even know why. Why do I get up? Why do I walk? Why do I live? No, I wasn't depressed. I was just empty. And in that silence, I sat on the bed and just sat for a minute, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But then it seemed like an eternity to me. That minute was the first minute of awareness in my life. A minute without a phone, without thoughts, without plans. Just me and myself. The next day, I decided to repeat it. Not because it's useful, not because coaches advise it, because that was the first minute I felt like I was truly living. I started calling it the minute of returning to myself. Every morning, right after waking up, I no longer grabbed my phone. I just sat on the edge of the bed, closed my eyes, and I was no tasks, no obligations, no rush. It was difficult. You can't imagine how much we are drawn back into chaos. How the brain screams, "You're wasting time. Hurry. You have to do something." And you sit and do nothing. A week passed, and something began to change. I began to notice the morning light on the wall. I began to feel the cold air touching my skin. I began to hear myself. Before, I would wake up and immediately forget who I was. I would immediately turn into a function, an employee, a son, a partner, a consumer. And now I remembered. I am not my tasks. I am not my social networks. I am not what I have to. I am someone alive, thinking, feeling, and he has the right to be. This 1 minute every morning became an anchor. While the whole world was rushing, I stopped. While others jumped into the stream, I breathed. Sometimes I just sat with my eyes closed. Sometimes I opened the window and felt the air. Sometimes I put my hand on my chest and listened to my heartbeat. These are the simplest things, but they are the ones that bring us back to ourselves. A month later, I became a different person. Not on the outside. On the outside, I was still the same. But on the inside, I became calmer. I began to see more clearly. I stopped reacting like a cornered animal. You wake up, and you are already whole. You don't need likes, coffee, approval, or motivation. You just are. That's enough. I started to notice that everything I do after this minute turns out cleaner. I worked not in a panic, but in focus. I communicated not to please, but to be myself. I did not move by inertia, but because I wanted to. And the most interesting thing, I did not do anything heroic. I did not get up at 5 a.m. I did not do 100 things before breakfast. I just sat for 1 minute. 3 months have passed. Now I can't imagine my life without this morning pause. It became like a shower, only not for the body but for the mind. The brain is cleansed. You choose who you are again. You regain control. I missed one time, and the whole day I felt that something was wrong. It's like I left myself somewhere. In bed. Since then, I haven't missed one. You can choose what your minute will look like. Maybe you'll look out the window. Maybe listen to the silence. Maybe just breathe. The main thing is not to run into the world right away. 1 minute. You give yourself a chance to hear yourself before everything else starts talking. Now, when someone asks me, where do I start to change? I'm not talking about the gym, books, or a regimen. I say, start with this minute. You wake up. and you don't walk, but sit. 1 minute. The world can wait. The phone can wait. You can't. This minute is yours. You can live it or give it away again. You can hear yourself or forget again. You can become a different person or stay the same. It's up to you. But know this, sometimes to change your life you don't need 100 steps. You need 1 minute. In the morning. Now, with yourself. And here's what's amazing. The longer you practice this minute, the quieter everything else becomes. Less noise, less panic, less unnecessary. You suddenly begin to see how your life used to be built on automatism. You ran because everyone was running. You wanted because everyone wanted. You woke up because you had to, not because you wanted. And now, you wake up for yourself. Not for the world, not for goals, but for the sake of simply being. Sometimes people write to me, "This minute hasn't changed anything." And I answer, "It has changed you, you just haven't noticed it yet." Because everything great begins unnoticed. Quietly, simply, with 1 minute, with one choice, with one morning.